Jake buys a rental property. Marcus puts the same money into index funds. Both think they made the smarter move. Both are wrong. One forgot to count the hours. The other forgot to count the zeros. Run the actual numbers over 20 years, and the gap will make your stomach drop. Let S level the field. Both start with $50 saved. Both earn $55 Kenya, same city, same age. What they do with that $50? Jake puts 20% down on a $250 rental property, a modest 3-bedroom in a decent neighborhood. His 30-year mortgage at 7% costs $1,330 a month. He rents it for $1,800, pocketing $470. Before a single repair or tax bill, he feels like a genius. Marcus dumps his $50 into a total stock market index fund. No leverage, no tenants, no headaches. He auto-invests $300 a month and forgets about it. When co-workers ask what he is investing in, he says, index funds. They nod and change the subject. Day one, Jake has a house, a tenant, and a story for dinner parties. Marcus has a brokerage login and a confirmation email. In terms of feeling like an investor, not even close. First few years, Jake lives the landlord dream. Rent hits his account every first of the month. He drives past his property, thinks I own that, and writes off mortgage interest on his taxes. Equity builds, comps rise. It feels real, tangible, smart. Marcus, he checks his account quarterly. $50, $55, $55, $61. No keys in his pocket, no tenant text, no asset to point at. Just a number on a screen. Jake's friends ask about the property. Marcus's friends don't ask about anything. Social proof makes Jake feel like he is winning by a mile. Now, the math, by year 3, Jake S. collected $64,800 in rent, paid $47,880 in mortgage, gross cash flow, $16,920. Sounds great. Until you subtract $3 Kenya in property taxes, $1.05 year insurance, $1.02 water heater, $2.08 roof leak. Suddenly, that $470 immense profit evaporates. Meanwhile, Marcus's $50, with compounding and his $300 month additions, is quietly stacking zeros. No midnight calls about clogged toilets. No surprise repair bills. Just math, working while he sleeps. Which one S really ahead? We L-run the 10-year numbers. Next, prepare for a reality check your move. Open your last brokerage statement and your last property repair invoice. Compare the hours column. Jake's spreadsheet promised $16,920 reality, delivered $4,000 if he is lucky. That is $1.11 per H hour for midnight plumbing calls and weekend showings. Meanwhile, Marcus S. $76,000. Portfolio required exactly 0 hours of labor. But wait, the leverage crowd is right, Jake. S. $250 property appreciated to $280, creating $55 in equity. That is real money, until you subtract the $7,000 HVAC replacement, the $3,000 eviction loss, and the $300 unpaid hours spent playing handyman. The dirty secret: your passive rental income is a part-time job with no benefits. That $1,500 rent check, slice off on $150 for property management, $200 for maintenance reserves, $125 for vacancy buffer. Now deduct taxes. What is left wooden? Cover your car payment. But stocks, Marcus S. $50 grew to $76 while he slept. No 2 a.m. calls about clogged toilets. No county inspection dramas. Leverage cuts both ways. A 4% property dip wipes out Jake S' entire 3-year profit. Marcus S. stocks dip too, but he did get a margin call. Here is your action. For 1 month, track every minute spent on investments, then multiply by your hourly wage. The smaller number wins. Still team real estate. Open your calendar and block off next Saturday. Your tenant just texted about a leak. None of this shows up in the $470 monthly cash flow Jake brags about at barbecues. But by year 5, the receipts pile up. $8,500 for a new roof, $1,400 emergency plumbing bill, 30 days of vacancy between tenants. His rent increase to $1,950 barely offsets rising taxes and insurance. The real cash on cash return, 3-5%, not the 15-20% fantasy he sold his friends. Meanwhile, Marcus' $50 index fund quietly compounds. No stock picking, no market timing, just $300 a month auto deposits. By year 7, $135, $150. The magic gains now generate more new money than his contributions. The tipping point year 10, Jake S. property, $335, $350 value, $166 mortgage, net equity, $170, $184. After a decade of repairs, vacancies, and $20, $35 out of pocket costs, Marcus's portfolio, $165, $180, $86, total invested, the rest pure compounding, 0 weekends lost to clogged toilets. Leverage gives Jake a slim lead, but at what cost? Hundreds of hours labor, concentrated risk in one asset, and a debt anchor. Marcus owns slices of thousands of companies without ever checking Zillow. The divergence year 20, Jake S. paid. Off property might hit $500. At 10% returns, his fund balloons to $500, $600 with no leverage, no landlord headaches, and 20 years of uninterrupted sleep. Still convinced real estate beats passive investing. Grab your last 12 months of rental statements. Highlight every expense in red. Now divide your net profit by hours worked. That is your true hourly wage. The math doesn't lie. The question is, which side of the equation do you want to be on when compounding really kicks in? If you're ready to test the numbers yourself, open your brokerage app right now. Set up a $300 a month auto, invest into VTI, then delete Zillow from your phone. Jake spent 2 decades playing landlord, fixing leaks at 2 a.m., chasing rent checks, and praying the hot water heater would die. His profit may be $80 after taxes, repairs, and that one nightmare tenant who trashed the place. Meanwhile, Marcus autopiloted $300 a month into index funds. No drama, no debt, just cold compounding math. His portfolio, $460, same net worth, radically different lifestyles. Here is the brutal truth. Real estate, S-wealth building, myth hinges on invisible labor, that $80 profit. Time cost, 240 hours, year X 20 years, equals 4,800 hours. 3 years of non-stop work. Hourly wage, $80, $24,800, equals $16.67 fund EHR, less than a NYC barista. Stock investors win by not working. Marcus, $300 a month required 0 skill, just the discipline to ignore CNBC panic porn. The leverage trap, Jake used $50 to control $250 in assets. Smart until rates spike or the market dips 15%. Marcus's $50 stayed his no bank could seize it during a crash, tax loopholes, overrated. Depreciation saves maybe $2 Kenya on a $250 property. Marcus's $460 portfolio, 0 paperwork, 0 audits. Action today, 1, open your brokerage app. 2, set up a $500 a month auto, buy for VTI or your local equivalent. 3, stop fantasizing about passive real estate. You are trading life hours for marginal gains. If your portfolio is under $100, leverage is irrelevant. Focus on stacking capital, not playing banker with your sanity. Final reality check at 7% returns. Every $500 a month you don't. T-invest costs your future self $280,000 over 20 years. The math does T care about your feelings. Go check your last 3 credit card statements. Any $500 frivolous spend, that is a future $280 you just burned. You think you are choosing between stocks and real estate, but you are really choosing between 2 different kinds of labor. One demands your weekends fixing leaky faucets. The other demands your discipline during market crashes. Both will expose how badly you've been calculating true costs. Run the rent-to-price ratio on your local duplex. If monthly rent isn't at least 0.8% of the purchase price, you are not investing, you are subsidizing someone else. Lifestyle with your mortgage. That $300,000 property renting for $2,000 a month. It is a liability disguised as an asset. House hacking only works if you treat tenants like business partners, not temporary roommates. That free housing fantasy dies when you are unclogging a toilet at 3 a.m. instead of sleeping before your actual job. Leverage cuts both ways. Your 4% appreciation turns to 20% returns until the HVA system fails and wipes out 2 years of gains. 1031 exchanges aren't magic. They're just deferred pain. Roll profits into another property and you're locking yourself into perpetual landlord duties. Meanwhile, your friend with index funds sells with one click and pays 15% capital gains. The trap is T, the asset class. It is the cult. Like devotion to either side. Your uncle boasting about rental income never mentions the 47 hours a year spent chasing late payments. The finance bro shilling ETFs won't show you his 2022 brokerage statement. Here is your mechanical action: open a spreadsheet. In column A, list every property expense, mortgage, taxes, repairs, vacancy. In column B, list the equivalent ETF fees and taxes. Now compare the bottom lines, not the Instagram highlights. When someone claims their strategy always wins, ask for their repair receipts or their worst quarterly statement. The truth lives in the paperwork they never post. Go pull your last property tax bill or brokerage statement. Now multiply the fees by 30 years. That is the real conversation starter.